Hello and welcome to the Gin Weekly Update for Friday, April 27th, 2018. I'm Joel Yeast. This week in the update, a lesson on being your own genetic engineer. Plus an update on the room block for our Global Dream Weekend coming up July 27th through the 29th in Chicago, Illinois. And now for our lesson of the week, here's Dr. Tom Morter. Dr. Tom?
Hello, I'm Dr. Tom Morter, and I would like to congratulate you on being a member in Gin. You know, we are having new members join. As a matter of fact, we recently had something happen that hadn't happened in a while, and that is someone joined and sponsored 4 new people that very day. That is the growth, that is the excitement, that's what's happening inside Gin. And you see, it only happens that way when people can feel what this club is about, when people can raise their belief level and their confidence, and they can see the direction that Gin is once again moving. And we're so excited about what's happening moving into Chicago in July. Our room rate, I've been keeping you up to speed on that for a reason, because I want you to understand the concept of knowing the score. I want you to know the score of your life. It's not just a numbers thing. Knowing the score is knowing where you are, knowing what's happening around you, paying attention to some detail. The room block that I've been talking about, we crossed earlier this week, we crossed the 136% mark, which means we're 36% over what we had projected to happen there based on what's been happening over the past few events. There was a mathematical formula. We are exceeding that because of you, because of your excitement, because of your belief, because of the messaging, because of the leadership of Blaine and Dr. Ted and myself, and calls that we're having with our upper level memberships and updates like this where people are getting a taste and listening to the Sip of Gin, getting a taste of the information. There are so many ways in which you can apply this. And in talking with that, so my point there is, if you desire that room rate, the special room rate for Gin, before we no longer have access to the numbers of rooms, make sure you register for the World of Chicago. You will enjoy it. You will be different. It will change your life, because that's what happens when you bathe in the energy, when you feel the vibration and the pulse and the excitement, and you look in the people's eyes and you say, what are these people on? Well, they're on life. They're on themselves. They're on improvement. They're on success. They're on results. They're on applying the material. That's what happens. I recently had an email scenario where my email got hacked, and that led to a series of events that followed that I won't go into the detail on this, because that's not the important part of this point. And what's happened is that it moved into my phone and how my phone received email and what happened there, and so some things happened to reprogram that. And what's occurred as a result of that is that every time I now get in my vehicle, something from my phone starts playing, and what's happened the last few days is that it kicks into some older stuff that's stored on my phone that actually is from level 1, and it's amazing, because the next thing. Let me just tell you about what happened this morning. I get in my 4Runner, and I'm heading out to work, and and this voice comes on, and it's a family friend of ours, Bruce Lipton. For those of you that know Bruce from The Biology of Belief and a number of books that he has, and just spectacular information, beautiful, beautiful human being. And he was explaining some concepts about genes and about epigenetics and things, that are right down our alley, and information that I enjoy, and it's part of the things that excite me. And he was talking about genetics and the code and how people are predisposed to certain things, and then the epigenetic factors like your environment, the epi meaning above or around or surrounding the gene, that it actually turns these genes on or turns these genes off. It triggers them to activate. So people who are predisposed to certain things can have a higher tendency if they're in an environment that triggers that gene to turn on. They may end up with disease, or they can turn on a gene and end up with happiness. The point of the conversation is that you are in control of who you become. You actually are, get that, you actually are a genetic engineer. So if you didn't know that you were in fact a genetic engineer because you influence the epigenetic portion of turning on your own genes and off your own genes, as well as creating an environment that turns on or turns off genes of those that you surround yourself with, you are a genetic engineer of yourself, of your family, of your community, of the people that you hang out with and you surround yourself with. And so I got a couple of chuckles out of that, and because we talk about all the time how in the 6 essentials, what you eat and drink and exercise, rest and breathe and think are the epigenetic factors. It's why we talk about nutrition. It's why we talk about positive thinking. It's why we talk about your attitude. It's why we talk about getting rest. It's why we talk about all the things that we talk about for you to end up having a healthy body. Without health, it is your greatest asset. Your health has to be. When you talk to people, what is their number one? What is their number one asset? It's being healthy. Without health, everything else changes. And so what's happened now is that I'm listening to this interview with Bruce, and I'm reminiscing about when we've had him speak at different events and the personal interaction that my family's had with him, and all of a sudden, for some reason, it changes and it kicks and it goes straight to some training from KT that's talking about, and you'll love this. It talks about the training balance scale and who do you listen to. And I just started laughing. Here I am driving down the road, just starting to laugh because I'm thinking, who do I listen to? I was just listening to Bruce, and now I'm listening to you. And these things are so in line with my life and what we do here, and what Dr. Ted and I do, and what we do with Blaine, and how we're impacting and changing lives. And really, it was interesting on the concepts that flipped through my head about knowing the score about things, and about the training balance scale, and about the fact that who you actually listen to. Because who you listen to changes your thought pattern, and your thought pattern flips on. It's an epigenetic component that triggers positive or negative response, positive or negative feelings. It creates a chemical reaction that forces your body to do something, which changes your physiology, which changes you. And that is a core tenet of Gen. Change. Change. The only constant is change. I invite you, because what happens in our belief systems, and what Bruce was talking about in that short clip, was that it's your belief systems that form your reaction. Sometimes you react to things and you don't know why. Well, I invite you for this week to just simply begin to reevaluate your belief systems. Ask yourself the simple question, why do I believe the things that I believe? And this is my ask. Reevaluate your belief systems in multiple categories of your life. Reevaluate what you believe in this new unit of time. Because once you have begun the training of Gen, once you begin to think about things, and once you begin to interact with people, and once you begin to go through the training, and you go to level 2, and you go to level 3, and you go to level 4, and you learn new information, and you go to level 5, and you're hanging out with new people, and you take a test, and you have a feeling of accomplishment, and you go to level 6, and all of a sudden the world shifts, and then you go to level 7, and I'm telling you, being in Chicago when that group of level 7 senior officers take the stage will be an historic moment in the global information network. And I believe that you desire to be there. And I desire to see you there. And therefore, it'll be a glorious weekend. So my point is, reevaluate your beliefs, make some decisions. Just say, here I am in this new unit of time. I am, in fact, a genetic engineer. And so I invite you to engineer your life, engineer your future, and engineer your community. I'm Dr. Tom. Until next week. Back to you, Joel.
Thank you, Dr. Tom. Well, that's the weekly update for Friday, April 27th, 2018. I'm Joel Yeast. I'll see you again next week.